Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talk. This is Todd Talk number 7, and when Todd talks, people listen. Tell me, do you listen? You will. Kidding. Kind of, maybe. If you couldn't tell by impersonation, yes, you're back to the DC Universe once again, but no, we are actually not talking about Batman versus Superman specifically. I actually talked about that last episode. It's actually one of my favorite ones, Todd Talk I did. I highly recommend checking it out. But no, this week, we are talking about the week that was in the DC Universe and specificity. I think that's a word. I'm gonna run with that so I can talk to who you think. Specificity. We're talking about DC Week, which this is recorded on a Saturday for those interested, and so from last Tuesday essentially to even today, things have been happening in DC Universe, and it's glorious and it's great and I love it so let's have a fun little Todd Talk breaking down everything that's happened from then on. First off, the shows. Yes, the bulk of the DC Universe announcements this week came from not one, not two, not three, but four, but 5 different shows of varying intent and purpose. Most specifically, there was Flash, Arrow returning, there was Legends of Tomorrow debuting, and then 2 DC specials documenting the rise of the Justice League, the dawn of the Justice League, and a special thing about Legends of Tomorrow. I'll start in order. First up, The Flash. You see, I almost hate having to start off with Flash because I'm about to bash it. For those who know me, again, one of my favorite lines ever, I love The Flash. I think the character's great. I grew up with him via the Justice League cartoon, voiced by, of course, by Michael Rosenbaum. I honestly don't read the comics, but that's just money and preference reasons. But I always appreciate the character. He actually has one of the deepest rosters of villains in history, second only to Batman in the DC Universe, possibly only third in overall, with Spider-Man obviously being in that lineup once we cross universes. But Flash is incredibly popular, and when he got brought over to the CW for a TV show, this is before the movie universe ever came to be, I was very nervous. But then the first season came out, and I was in love with it from almost the word go. Pretty much before the word go, because I actually got to see the first episode before anyone else. And so when season 1 ended, I was already looking forward to season 2. And then season 2 happened, or I'm sorry, I gotta say it correctly. The first half of season 2 happened, and I'm not very happy. I'm sorry. It's just, to me, it's not living up to the legend that the first season, did. It's just not. I mean, you call it sophomore slumps, call it bad writing decisions. I apologize to any of the Flash writers who are listening to me. I am not insulting you. I'm just saying, based on my opinion, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same magic, and it's so sad because the potential is perfect, and they have these great elements, and yet they're focusing on other things that they honestly shouldn't. Or, in my opinion, they shouldn't. I can't emphasize the words "my opinion" much more than that. My opinion. My opinion. My opinion only. Sorry, couldn't resist. Consider this mercy. Just joking. Consider this my opinion. That was Superman, obviously. Duh. I mean, even just the first episode of season 2, they kill Ronnie Raymond again, and yes, we know he's not really dead because there's no body and everything, but it's just oh no, now we need a new Firestorm, which would have been fine, except no, I'm not gonna get into that. So that's another long spiel. Then Jake Garrick, they brought him in. Yes, he doesn't have his powers. Okay, we can go with that. Now he's a coward. What the heck? By the way, he's gonna fall in love with Caitlin. What? What is that? And now, as of the episode this week, he's now dying, and unless he gets his super speed back, he's not going to live much longer, which is unnecessary because we knew he was going to go back to Earth 2. We knew he was going to get his powers back because he's got to protect his central city, even with the presumed other Leaguers. We know at least Aquaman is confirmed. Jay Garrick said that, not me. He's got to go home, and yet now it's just no, we have to add the whole, he has to get speed back or he dies. I'm why? what's the honest point of that? It's Wildcat all over again. I hated how Wildcat was used in Arrow season 3. They brought him in a good way. I'll admit that they brought him in a good way, but he wasn't the grizzled veteran. He's just a boxer who was a vigilante once, and then now he's training Laura Lance. But you only see it like 3 times, and then all of a sudden he faces off against Brick, played by Vinnie Jones, who was actually really good in that role. And he's either dead or we've never seen him since, and that breaks my heart because Wildcat's awesome. And now it's Jay Garrick, so I'm like, what the heck are they doing with the JSA? Which brings me to wasted characters. They killed Atom Smasher. What the heck? He's JSA. Uh, they're they got rid of Grodd, which I actually applaud because they just haven't done well with Grodd. Again, my opinion. And then just these other things, and then now it's like, oh, Wally West is in here, but now he's a big jerk, and he hates Joe because Joe never knew he had a son, which is like, how is that his fault? It's that kind of thing. And then they got rid of Henry Allen. They literally free him in the first episode of the season, and then like 5 minutes after the release, he's like, no, son, I really need to get out of Central. I'm totally leaving you right now. What? How does that make any sense? Yes, if he said, hey, son, I want to take a vacation. I will be back. Just give me 2 weeks. I want to enjoy the world. That would have been fine. But no, he's been gone for months, and he's only been 2 episodes, to my knowledge. And it's just like, why? Why, after all that buildup of freeing Henry Allen, did they do this? And it breaks my heart. Because again, Flash Season 1 was so awesome. I watched the DVD, which is in that room over there, like so many times, back to front, and oh gosh. And it's just, and then they give Barry a new girlfriend via Patty Spivot, and they're adorable, and now they're breaking up, and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, they're breaking up because Patty now wants to move on with her life. I'm like, what sense does that make? Oh gosh. Is it Arrow season 3 bad? I don't know. There's still half a season to go, but 10 episodes in, I am not impressed. Okay, rant over. Now on to Arrow, which is significantly better from both last season and this season of Flash. I love what they're doing with it, because with the conversion to Green Arrow, you think, oh, it's going to get so much better for Oliver. Well, when obviously you can't do that, and especially after all the build they've had in these last 3 seasons. And, it's just, I loved the last episode, which was, oh darn, what was the episode title? I can't remember. I'm sorry. I do apologize. But the recent episode, they showed that even with what he's doing, and after everything has happened, he still feels the urge to do right. But he's starting to wonder: do I have the capacity and the ability to stay as Green Arrow, or do I need to be the Arrow again? Be the killing machine that just ends threats before they even happen. And it's a good question. It's a question that honestly a lot of heroes struggle with. So it's, to me, like not like a rehash of something they've done before, because now it's really pertinent. With what happened with Felicity. Yes, she's alive, and no, she's not the one who dies at the presumed near end of the season, which really opens the can of worms of who will die and everything. I have my thoughts. I will let you know them later. I love what they're doing. Arrow season 4 has been the most consistent season of all the shows, and I say that in the best way possible, because I don't think I've given it the episodes of review for followingthenerd.com. Plugging shameless self-promotion. I've never given it anything below 4, I do believe. And even though I will still say that Gotham season 2 is the best TV show on television, not Netflix, on television right now, Arrow is close second because of its consistency and ability to continue to tell stories very, very well. So I'm very excited for that. And I saw the sizzle reel. Say that 5 times fast. I saw the sizzle reel for the rest of season 4, and I'm very, very excited for what's coming. That was very, very short. I do apologize. Neil McDonough. I got Doctor Who in my head, sorry. Neil McDonough, who is playing Damien Dark, absolutely fantastic villain. He's just played just the perfect way, and he's easily one of the best villains on Arrow. Still probably second to Slade, maybe just above Malcolm Merlin, but it's good stuff, and I applaud that. So I can't wait for the rest of Arrow hitting the 10-minute mark. Moving on. Legends of Tomorrow. This one's tricky. I'm going to fully admit here to you that the first 12 minutes of the show I did not get to see, not because I did not want to watch it, but because my TV, which I swear has been acting so weird recently for personal reason, personal event that happened. Not like evil personal event, but just technological personal event. Moving on. What was I talking about? Oh, Legends of Tomorrow. We didn't get to see the first one because the feed was cutting in and out. And for the record, it wasn't cutting out on any other channel except for the CW. I kid you not. And so I'm like looking for ways to watch it online, and then I just go back to my room and I turn it on, and sure enough, oh, it's on. Thankfully, the first 12 minutes is basically the things we've seen in all the previews, and Rip Hunter gathering the team. So what did I think about it? Again, this is tricky because it's just the first episode, but what they showed in the first episode is intrigued me enough to really give this show its due process, which, for the record, is only 16 episodes, and so we've already got one episode out of the way, so that's only 15 left. And it makes me excited because not only do I know that this story hopefully won't, like, do like the typical ups and downs, or have filler episodes in between. They can't do that because it's 16 episodes instead of 23. It's kind of like the Netflix thing. They only had 13 episodes to tell a complete story. I love the characters. There's the biggest danger they've had with these characters is that none of them are the quote-unquote A-listers. There's no Arrow outside of cameo. There's no Flash outside of a mention. It's all these quote-unquote B-listers that we've gotten through these shows with Firestorm, White Canary, and Atom, and even Captain Cold and Heatwave. These aren't the A-listers. These are, the B team, which is fine because that's the whole point of the show. Is that it's not supposed to be a Justice League show. It's supposed to be these heroes who either haven't done the big things that Arrow and Flash have done, or in the case of Captain Cold, Heatwave, they're not heroes. They're just they have a very particular set of skills acquired over a very long career. Moving on. I can't resist. I'm sorry. And so to see this and to have it tie into not only the recent arc with the Vandal Savage, but bringing in the Time Master known as Rip Hunter, which is a huge DC character, is very good stuff. And I can't wait, just based on what I'm hearing on who we're going to visit, the past, the future. Everything is open because it's time travel, which makes it instantly different than even the Flash, where he's only gone back a day, and then of course that 15 years previous, but he only did that once, and he had to do something very special to do that. This is, I hate getting this ship, let's go back in time or go forward in time. And the characters really sold it to me. You got like Ray Palmer, who literally died and saw that the world didn't stop turning without him. Then you have Sarah Lance, who did actually emphatically die, was resurrected, and now feels she needs to be something else. And then you got Firestorm, who is two different people in one. One wants an adventure, one doesn't want to mess with it. And what happens there is hilarious. And you got the villains are like, oh, we could steal the Mona Lisa right off of Da Vinci's easel. We could steal the Hope Diamond before it's even discovered. This is what we came thieves for. This is the greatest opportunity ever. And then you got the Hawks, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, who, they're reincarnated, they're killed, they're reincarnated, they're killed by Vandal Savage, who's the villain. And it's just like, where is this going to go? And seeing them both interact with each other, which was its own delight, and then them deciding, why should I join Rip Hunter on this journey through time and space? Yes, this is Doctor Who with superheroes, ladies and gentlemen. Not TARDIS, though, it's the Wave Rider, just saying. And no, it's not an acronym. It's very intriguing, it's very appealing, and I love it so far. Again, it's only one episode. If there was a criticism, it was so basic because it's a setup that it kind of hurt itself. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, I do believe. Again, following the nerd.com, read all my reviews there. It was so basic in this setup that they couldn't delve into it too much. Like Vandal Savage only shows up in like 2 official scenes, one at the beginning and one at the end, which is fine. We know he's going to show up eventually again in repeated times. And even just a small twist, that they threw into the formula, yes, it was very, very predictable, but again, it worked in the context of the show. And you didn't need an Arrow or Flash build-up because all these guys are already heroes / villains / people with abilities or technology that make them special. So they didn't need that. That's usually the one of the big emphasis points of the first episode of a superhero series is, who are they and how did they get here? Well, we already know most if you've watched both shows. Who are these people and how did they get here? So the only big introduction was Rogue Hunter, which they did very, very well actually. And with everything that happened in the episode, I'm excited for Legends of Tomorrow. So props to that team. This was a big risk, but I hope that it continues, that it gets renewed, and that I get to write on the show one day. Just saying. Now you notice I may have skipped around a little bit because I didn't do the DC specials, which technically aired after Flash because I wanted to deal with them in one. Dawn's Justice League. That was very interesting. First of all, Kevin Smith is such a fanboy in the best way possible. You could just see his enthusiasm throughout, the entire special. And it was like, for just talking about the movies, the characters, and, holding like the Joker's cane or looking at the Wonder Woman outfit as they showed the first footage of Wonder Woman. You could just sense the fanboy in him, and it's beautiful in every single way, because that's how I feel. I mean, I would have been maybe a little more contained, but then, like, I still would have been bouncing off the walls, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And like Wonder Woman looks great. Just what we've seen, she has the sword, she has a shield, she's fighting people, she's totally epic. We're gonna see her in Amazon, in a how's it Amazonia, Themyscira. We're gonna see her in the real world with appropriate attire, for the time period and all that stuff. And I love it. Wonder Woman is an incredibly deep character, and people lose that sometimes because they think, oh, she's like, the best female character. And it's like, well, yes, but that's not just it. She's a warrior, but she's incredibly compassionate. Jeff Jones said it best when he said during the Blackest Night arc, no one loves the world more than Diana, which is her mortal name, I guess. No one loves the world more than Diana because she wants to protect it and save everyone. It doesn't matter their race, their name, their affiliation. As long as they're citizens of this world, Wonder Woman is going to save them. And that's the beauty of it. And yet she's not afraid to get down and battle with gods and demons and any mortal or immortal that comes in her way. That's what makes Wonder Woman special. She's literally this two-sided coin where it's like you can get the warrior if you're against her, or you can get this compassionate, loving soul if you're her friend. And that's what I'm hoping they deal with the Wonder Woman movie. And obviously Batman vs Superman and Justice League. So here's hoping. And then they talked about the Justice League itself. Presumably the Justice League film will have the six of the 7 main characters: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman. Not sure how I feel about that at the moment. Because Green Lantern obviously is a big part of the Justice League. They confirmed the Justice League and Green Lantern will eventually meet. Just unsure of how technically Green Lantern Corps, which is the movie, is the last of the current slate of DC films that have been announced. So, date-wise, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm still all for Ryan Reynolds coming back. I'm just saying it wasn't him that was bad, it was the movie. Moving on. And then a Suicide Squad. Oh my gosh, that trailer. Bohemian Rhapsody, which for anyone who's not like actually listened to the song, is a song about suicide. I had to be told that before. I honestly couldn't believe it until I had to listen to the lyrics. Yes, they did a suicide song for the Suicide Squad, and now I'm super, super excited. Like, seriously, I've been like blasting that trailer every chance I get at work because it's so funny and it's so good, and it shows just the irreverence of this film and the ridiculousness of it all, because no government in the world could ever, like in our world, could ever put together a Suicide Squad and get away with it. But Amanda Waller can. So I am ecstatic and super excited for this film because we get now the ultimate hero film, GC side anyway, with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman uniting, and then 6 months later we get the Suicide Squad coming together as the ultimate villains, like worst heroes ever, and that's exciting for me. I mean, it's a good time to be a DC Comics fan. Now, yes, could this all go horribly wrong? Absolutely. But I have faith. I have faith in Batman vs Superman, which again, watch my last episode. I break that down in much greater detail. I have now utmost faith in Suicide Squad just based on what I've seen. And then you got like the TV shows, even with like Supergirl, which is for me my least favorite of the bunch right now. Gotham is still kicking. It's gonna be coming back at the end of February. Way too long. I'm still hoping Flash will get better. Um, Crap, just forgot. Arrow is great. Legends of Tomorrow's off to a good start, and there could be a lot more coming. It, it's great, and I love it so. And then there was an announcement that there might be a rebirth of the DC universe in the comics. I'm not going to judge that because it was just a teaser, and everyone's saying, "Oh, they're going to relaunch the DC universe again." I'm like, hold your horses, let them make the announcement, and then we can judge them harshly. We gotta wait. We gotta wait for that part. And so it's been an interesting week, and I'm very happy that all my shows are back, good, bad, or indifferent. Um, I am a proud DC and Marvel fanboy. I love the world of comics that I live in. Again, I write comics, so I enjoy every single chance that I get to delve into these worlds and see the ideas that come from them. I still hope to work on a show like Flash or Arrow or even Supergirl or Gotham or Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Agents of Shield. That is a dream of mine, and I hope one day to get it. And with that, I shall end this episode of Todd Talk. I thank you for indulging my DC fandom once again. I promise the next episode will not be this topic unless it's something earth shattering that needs to be discussed. It has happened before. Um, if you are listening to us on our SoundCloud page, definitely check out the links below. You can see I have the link for Following the Nerd where you can check out my reviews. Definitely check out my comics pages. We're making some announcements very soon about those, so stay tuned to that. No, I think that's it. So, I thank you all for coming by. I thank you for getting through this far, because if you've gotten this far, I know you were listening, and I will see you around.